Please welcome the president of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you all here. We're going to get to water in a minute, but I have to start with what's on many people's minds right now, which is the situation in the Middle East. And I would be remiss if I didn't start with that conversation. Yes, tensions and uncertainty remain very high. The world is watching closely. The key question, of course, is both the duration, but also the level of impact on energy infrastructure. The economic effects are already showing well beyond the region where, of course, the impact is the most severe right at the beginning. And, of course, the impacts are asymmetric. It depends a little bit whether you're an oil importer or a net exporter. It depends a little bit on the storage capacity you may or may not have. It depends a little bit on your fiscal headroom. There are many things that make this asymmetric. But yes, the impact is spreading, and it's starting now to hit Asia, and it's spreading to Africa. For developing countries, these pressures will persist because these compound already tight fiscal space and high debt. And that's the environment that we are heading into for these spring meetings. December will be in the Emirates. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to the Secretary General to help bring us to a close. Thank you. Thank you.
My dear friend Ajay Banga, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to express the full support of the United Nations to Water Forward and to congratulate Ajay Banga, the World Bank, and all the partners for moving ahead with this absolutely essential initiative. A few comments of why this is so important. First, because water is life. And there is no strategy for sustainable development that can be successful if water is not an essential part of that strategy. And also, there is no way to organize a set of policies for the well-being of communities and people if water and sanitation are not in the center of those policies. A very simple example. It's absolutely impossible to speak about public health if there is not a very strong investment in water and sanitation. Second point that makes this initiative very important is that we face a tremendous gap. We have billions of people that have no access to water and no access to sanitation for their health, for their economic activities, for the development of their countries. And this tremendous gap needs to be addressed. It is totally unacceptable in our world to see that water is still something that is not considered a basic human right of the whole population of our planet.
Now joining us is one of the world's leading business leaders, President and CEO of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote. Aliko is one of the most influential business leaders at the forefront of private sector growth and job creation. He can help us better understand how water security supports industrial expansion and economic development. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. The President of the World Bank, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor to join you today for the launch of Water Forward, driving jobs and prosperity. I commend the World Bank for putting water where it actually belongs. At the center of the development, growth, and competitiveness agenda, we must say this clearly: water is economic infrastructure. It is an important to development as power, roads, ports, and digital connectivity. The evidence is compelling. The United Nations has shown that 3 out of every 4 jobs globally are either heavily or moderately dependent on water. When water system fails, labor markets, agriculture, industry, health, and human capital suffer. They are not, sanitation tells an equal urgent story. In 2024, global coverage of safely managed sanitation rose to 58%, but 3.4 billion people still lacked safely managed sanitation services. Among them, 1.9 billion had only basic sanitation, 560 million used limited services, 555 million used unimproved facilities, and 354 million practiced open defecation. These are not abstract numbers. They mean a lot. They mean lost productivity, higher healthcare cost, lower school attendance, weaker labor force participation, and slower growth. Poor water sanitation and hygiene conditions still account for more than 1 million diarrheal deaths every year.
I'm excited to welcome you to the Handshake Summit and Awards. The theme for this edition is the offline survival kit, building and monetizing impactful communities. And as you can sense with the way we're rolling out this event, at the heart of why we're here is relationships and connections. The Handshake Summit is all about bringing intentionality to the way professionals connect with one another to deliver impact in the very different spaces that we occupy, as business leaders, as leaders in public policy. And these events are staged on the sidelines of core convenings like UNGA, the World Bank Spring and Annual Meetings, where there's a lot of concentration of people doing exciting work in exciting cities. So I hope that by the end of this day, each of us would leave here meeting at least one new person that we didn't know prior to coming in. We have aspirations that there will be handshakes that will occur by the end of this night that will be talked about in media, decades from now. We hope that today is a beginning of something special in all the ventures that you all are leading. So, having set that stage, I want to set the expectation that please be open. It's a conversation. We've compiled a very fantastic panel of leaders building cool things that you would all learn about. There will be technology showcases. There will even be some music, and there's heavy media presence here. So I encourage everyone to be very curious, very expressive, and very open to soak in and also to pour in. And to close, I would just say I'm reminded of a proverb from Senegal which says, wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one person can wrap their hands around it. So we hope that we will all interlock hands to make sense of this rapidly changing world that we're operating in, whether it's what's going on in financial innovations or AI that is invading every space of human existence. We hope that in this group, with the handshakes that will occur, we can lock hands and leave here with more insights to help us go be impactful in the world tomorrow and onward. So thank you so much. Welcome to the Handshake Summit. A round of applause to yourselves for being here. Thank you so much. So next on the agenda, I would like to invite our convener, Chase the Nedwedian. He is a dynamic professional, a serial innovator, a man whom I admire for many reasons. And I'll let him tell you about himself. I'm going to call him up to the podium now to give his opening remarks. A round of applause for Chase, please.
Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this Handshake Summit and Award. It's an honor to have you here, and for those who came here very early, it's just a way to support each other and also to collaborate. So I do not take this for granted, and I'm happy to have you in this room. So the Handshake destination, like the MC mentioned, is taking us through different cities and communities, even countries. As of last year, we started having conversation from the COP in Berlin, the World Economic Forum, we had at the CSW, and also we tried the first chat. Thank you for just joining us. Thank you. But first, let me say, if you made it into this room through traffic, flights, calendar chaos, and whatever else life threw you at this week, most especially my friend Jay, who lost his father-in-law and still could make it here. Please a round of applause for him. We do not take anything for granted when it comes for this activity, especially when people have to drive or fly for just this purpose. And that's why when we experience challenges, we couldn't cancel it for no reason. You all are already an overachiever, so take a deep breath. You made it. Now for those who is meeting me for the first time, my name is Chasey Negligent. I serve as the head of happiness at ConcordeApp. And yes, that's a real title. Because in a world where we measure everything, we forget that joy, trust, and human connections are actually the foundation of execution. And I also serve as head of failure and social experiment at Semaform Foundation. And I say that very intentionally, because everything we're building here, every summit, every handshake, every attempt to turn conversation into action comes from a willingness to try, fail, learn, and try again. And just like the MC reminded us, let's have an open mind. So if anything feels a little experimental today, good. That means we're doing it right. Last month we were in New York at the UN Commission on the Status of Women. It was big room, big speeches, big words. We had women from different cultures, from the Minister of Nigerian Women's Affairs, from the wife of the Inspector General of Police, wife of service chiefs, representative from the UN agencies in the room. Everyone was talking about policies, framework, declaration, and I remember sitting there thinking, this is powerful. But where is the follow through? Because let's be honest, we have enough conversation to last us the next 100 years. If you look at the back of the stage, you will see Tribe Kitchen. You will see Bofak with the Zobo drink. At least for the first time, we have our own branded Zobo drink with the handshake insignia on it. What does it tell us? It tells us that we have young professionals, irrespective of age, gender, are doing things in their respective way, and they need a stage to be showcased. So a lot of people saw our flyer we made with several faces, several logos, and they say, oh, you have lots of money. And I'm like, no. The quest for us is that if we have these logos, it represents these individuals who have this business. And we want to be able to celebrate them. If you see those logos, even if it's for their first time, it shows that you can do business with them. So today we move. We move from the handshake, from the halls of justice to the NG of global capital, from New York to the World Bank and IMF Spring Meetings. Because if policy is where ideas are born, capital is where those either live or die. But another significant thing is, over 2 decades ago, I can't believe I'll find myself in the same room with Dr. Olusegun Ojo and Stephen Oguntoyibo. These are people who I've worked with in the last 10 to 20 years. You know, we're all hustling on the streets of Lagos, trying to do advocacy in the best way, taking on fellowships and executing projects. But today, we say finance and food, and people say, do we have food at the event? No. But because prosperity is not theory, prosperity is what you eat. It is what you can afford. It is whether your community is surviving or actually growing. You cannot talk about jobs and prosperity without talking about the real everyday system people depend on. So today we're doing something intentional, and I can see laughs already in the room. People remembering their friends from way back. They want to connect. But it's always a struggle to get people in the room. But when they see their friends, they get excited. And that's the purpose of such events. It's not just about us, it's about how we can bring people together and let them do businesses. I met Mr. Chooks just 2 days ago, and I dragged him to this space. And it's just so coincidental that they will also be taking on this space afterwards. But we would not have done this. Is there an echo, Steven? We're bringing together the hard infrastructure of finance, fintech, capital, the mystique from Tribe's Kitchen, which you guys will be savoring later on, and the social infrastructure of food, community, and daily life, because one without the other does not work. And that brings me to our team, the offline survivor kits. Now I know we're all building in AI, automation, machine learning, Some of you are probably thinking, Chase, why are you talking about offline anything in 2026? But here's the truth. In a world full of algorithms, the most valuable asset is still a room like this. People who show up, people who trust each other, people who can look each other in the eye and say, let's actually do something together. And for the singles in the room, you could actually get married. Because the purpose is just an extension of Handshake. It's not just business relationship, but how much more you can build that trust within yourself. But let's actually do something together. This is what bank trust. This is what investors fund. This is what scales. So today it's not about collecting business cards. It's not about posting great panel on LinkedIn later. We are here to ask one question. How do we turn human trust into fundable, scalable impact? And that leads us to the next segment, our panel. We have super 10 people tonight who will be joining and bringing on their skills. Because beyond the hype, I want us to be very clear. This is not a vibes panel. This is not let's all agree and smile panel. This is a deal-making room. We're not here for dialogue alone. We are here for MOU execution. If you came to listen, amazing. If you came to learn, even better. But if you came ready to move something forward, you're exactly where you need to be. So lean in, stay present, talk to someone you did not plan to meet, because the next partnership, the next investment, the next breakthrough might be sitting right next to you. And before I close, let me say this with gratitude. To our Chair Olusegun Onikinde, who just came in, thank you for this space and for believing in what we're building. A round of applause for you, please. Olusegun Onikinde happens to be my former boss at BudgIT, where I'd worked in communications. And despite that, I have harassed and frustrated this young man a long time. But even in the space of Washington, D.C., when at last minute I couldn't get to use the Nigerian embassy in D.C., Olusegun again came through, and a round of applause for him again. He didn't just say he believes in what we're doing, he wants to continuously sponsor and support the works that we do. So whether we take the Handshake Summit to the UN General Assembly in September, or we bring it back to what we do at the World Bank, either at the Spring Meeting or at the annual meeting, Olusegun has shown to us that it's not just by show or mouth talking. People put their mouth and money where it belongs. So our speakers, panelists, artists, and everyone behind the scene, and my brother and friend Nii also, who is from Saskatoon, I hope I pronounced it well, happened to celebrate his birthday yesterday. Thank you for coming into this room. I just want you guys to know that the professionals that you have in this room is not just by chase, but it's just a way for you to all connect and collaborate. I see you all and I thank you, because none of this happens alone. As we look ahead, this does not stop here. Our next destination is the United Nations General Assembly, and we cannot get there without you. So today I ask for three things: your talent, your time, your treasure, and to put your phone on silent. Because this movement only works if we build it together. Thank you for coming into this room. Welcome to the Handshake destination. Let's get to work. Thank you very much.
To invite our chair, Olusegun Onikinde, to give us a keynote address. Olusegun is a distinguished figure in Nigeria's public landscape, recognized globally for his fervent advocacy for fiscal transparency, open governance, and civic engagement. He hails from Ile-Asikpa Masifa, Ogbomoso. After a few years in the banking industry, Seun co-founded BudgIT, Africa's leading fiscal transparency organization. Under his leadership, the organization emerged as a trailblazer in fiscal transparency and data visualization in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Senegal, and the United States, reaching 32 million citizens and supporting numerous civil society organizations and public institutions. He attended Loyola College and the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and also participated in certificate courses at other prestigious institutions, including Stanford University and Columbia University, where he was honored as an Obama Foundation Scholar. Yeah, you can clap for that. In 2024, he obtained a master's degree in international policy and practice from the George Washington University's Elliott School of International Affairs. He is a Johns Hopkins Science Doctor of International Affairs candidate, focusing on AI-driven fiscal efficiency and governance reform. I could go on and on about this incredible mentor and friend, but I will cut the remarks short and have us hear from him. So thank you, sir.
All right. Let me pull up my notes. All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure today being here. And thanks so much for the Handshake Summit and Awards. A round of applause for Chase, please. While I was coming down, first my apologies for coming late. My daughter's 20th birthday is on Saturday, so so there's so much happening with the family that I have to get going. But I was coming, I was speaking to Lee and my friend, and I was commending the audacity of Chase Dinegwedio, who I've known for over 20 years. Right away in the university, Chase, you could see through him that he's always committed to excellence and to incredible things. And so when he shared with me about this Handshake Summit, I said, Chase, you are back with all your ideas again. I will be at the Nigerian embassy until we had to make this makeshift venue. And I'm happy that it feels a little bit convenient as much as possible. I mean, let me first say that I'm looking at the diaspora capital today and what we can do differently for the Pan-African ecosystem. Because I've understood that Chase is not just a man for Nigeria, it's a man for Africa, it's a man with a heart for the continent, and to do things differently from the continent. And not just about the continent, it's also about bringing together the intellect, the capital, the interest, all the wealth of the diaspora, bringing all of that together to influence and to catalyze development in Africa. And I guess that's a critical reason why he has thought of this very important dimension on which is called the Handshake Summit. And also to thank James Williams, to thank him for also all the support for this work. Why do we, and when you look at what Chase is doing, I'm to address on the theme, the offline survival kits, building and monetizing impactful communities, which is the key point about what we are doing today. First of all is to say that communities in Africa, they need help. They need significant help to scale, to drive impact. And for most countries that's found significantly, like India, Thailand, and maybe possibly even Brazil, Lebanon, we found a bit of growth. It's just because the diaspora have come very, very strong for them. So if there is anything Africa is not leveraging effectively, it is the strength of our diaspora. And the reason is that diaspora people are not just long lost relatives. They are not. They are our ambassadors, the entire collective of our strength. Who have journeyed into new spaces, learned about new ideas, set even new standards, contributed to the economy. And if you look at us as people in Africa, we should be proud of that. We should harness all of that intelligence, all of that strength, to really develop Africa. And I guess the purpose of why we need this handshake is that we would have to think back about what exactly can we do back home to really bring much more impactful communities in Africa. And the reason why is that Africa has gone through waves of interest. There was a time Africa was classified as the lost continent, like we were like hopeless continent. Everybody always remembers that's the Economist cover page that writes clearly the hopeless continent. And then we came back and we said Africa rising. Then after we found all the super cycle booms with oil booms a little bit of democratic space was opening, and everybody said, oh, okay, yeah, Africa is rising. At this point, I think everybody is now confused. It's neither hopeless, it's neither rising. So we don't even know where exactly we sit at this point. But most importantly is that every single space of development, it seems that they are either developed or found a place or they are plateaued into a space where they have found themselves in what they call the middle income trap, which means there is no longer heights to really ascend to significantly. But Africa is that space where we know that every single geometric leap, either in manufacturing, either in industry, either in payments, either in digital services, takes us up in a long way. I was watching a leap, some data today about how Nigeria is going to find much more significant growth than the entire European Union collectively, Western Europe collectively. And it's just because it's someone that is on the floor. There's a whole lot you can even achieve, even if you just take a little bit of step ahead. And I think to get that happening properly, the diaspora have significant work to do. And my piece today, in terms of the 10, is 5 things I want to share with you today about what can the diaspora do much more significantly to help us. And it might be easy for us to think through diaspora from the point that we need more money in Africa, or let's send more money in Africa. And when you just look at China, India, it was not just about sending money back to Africa, to their countries. No, it was about bringing the collective sum of their intellect, of their intelligence. They were like sent on intelligence missions, and they were used to now revitalize those economies back home. So we just don't need resources back to Africa. That's not what we need. We just don't need us sending money back. So yeah, resources are important. But the first thing is that how does the entire intellect that we have gathered within this space, how does it start influencing us back home? Our universities, our civic spaces, our civil society, what are we going to do to take all of this intelligence and knowledge, influence back home? And that's why, every Chinese person is back here, they study, they take all their best and they go back to Africa. The best of Africa, it comes here, they feel like this is my entire escape, man. This is me getting out of the dungeon. This is my jump off from the trenches, and they really don't want to just go back anymore. What we need back home is to be able to build more impactful communities is to have a continuous knowledge exchange ecosystem. Extremely important for us to be able to build the Africa that we have. China has done it. India has done it. We also have to be able to take all our knowledge and our intellect back to Africa. The second thing is our commitments to this continent. We are in a very troubled environment, and we might not realize it yet, but I'm sure it will be very obvious in the next 1 to 2 years with this weapon that has been thrust upon us, which is artificial intelligence. Am I right? Because obviously it's going to reshape how we work, how we eat, how we play. In fact, I'm a Chelsea fan, and that comes with a bit of disappointment these days after the multi-billion naira spend. And I was saying, if anything, I want football to change to robots playing, so that at least I know when we are facing the goal, there's a bit of degree of certainty that the robot that is facing the goal, if with 99% score, I will not be tormented by Garnacho or Nicholas Jackson. And when I say this is the entire AI is already taking charge of repetitive tasks, data, graphic design, editing. We are now moving directly to even data analysis. All of that has been solved up. Then at the point we might even have robotics falling and having the unit economics even dropping much more lower. It means that the entire energy of Africa, the entire workforce of Africa, there's a lot of question about what do they do. Where are the jobs that are going to come in for them? Great leaps maybe from China with manufacturing, obviously. We have to ask that question, what's going to be our commitment in being able to create sustainable jobs back home in Africa? People are talking about business process outsourcing, something China, Philippines, Vietnam have benefited from. What's going to be our opportunities there? So we must also have commitment into how do we harness the demographic dividend in Africa. And it starts with that transfer of skills. It also means starts with the second point, which is about mentorship. That mentorship, so it's not about us bringing skills and just show up and parachute into Africa. No, the most continuous, deliberate mentorship that we must show as a people. The thought that I want to mention is about, one of my mentor, Ori Okolo, that mentions that we cannot entrepreneur our problems away from Africa, that Africa will not solve its problems solely by entrepreneurship. You know, there's always this shining belief that we take money to Africa, we build Africa, we build. The policy, the governance ecosystem of Africa also needs help. Because most countries are always locked into what they call part dependence theory. You know, when the Bible says that the person that has, you know, will keep having more. In fact, the person that does not have, out of which we does not, that of the little will take from him, and will give people to the person that has. Which means it's very, very easy. I mean, like that basic Newton law of physics, that that object will continue on a straight line, am I right? Until you get a bit of disruption down the way. What I mean is that it's very easy for a country to continue on the path of ruin. You know, it's very easy to continue in that trajectory. And same way for a country that projects itself, like what China has done the last 30 years, it's also very easy for you to continue in that path of trajectory. Because it's just more like a self-reinforcing narrative for these countries. And based on all of this is governance. The governance in Africa has to be different. And we as diaspora people, we that want to shape communities, it's not just our charity that will fix Africa. No, it's that we also pay intentional attention into how governance has to be delivered in Africa, how institutions have to be effective as it's important it should be. And that would be my third point. My fourth point, in terms of what we can do, in terms of bringing these things together, has to do with collaboration, cross-sector collaboration, and this is what I mean. I've talked about the fact that we have to build knowledge ecosystems in Africa. I've talked about the fact that it can't just be one-off, it has to be mentorship. I've also mentioned that it can't just be about mentorship, we also have to care about the politics, the policy, the governance. But most importantly, we also have to connect the dots in the long term. Working in Africa means that issues are very, very stubborn. The most times we think is a law, it's a technology that's going to solve problems in Africa. Most times we think that that's going to be the no. It's about the staying power for the long game. And most importantly, living in two worlds, as I call it, for us to be patiently impatient, for us to be pessimistically optimistic, which means, yeah, it's good. The thing about Africa, the thing about these societies and what we want to change is that it's going to take time. Because these things are entrenched and there are various dimensions of interest that want to keep the status quo going. And until we carry a lot of resilience, knowing that it takes time, and also equally show a lot of impatience that we are really out of time, that's how we can really, really carry ourselves and be able to transform these spaces. So I'm asking us for long-term cross-sector collaboration, thinking through, we need media, we need academia, we need government, we need every single person, we need the AU, we need the dysfunctionalities, we need the functionalities, we need the effectiveness, we need the effectiveness. We need all of them to come together to bring up the final solution. My last point would be about dialogue, which is what Chase is doing here today. The fact that we don't theorize our problems enough. When everybody says Africa is a talking place, talking, we're always just talking. No, it's good to talk, it's good to theorize our problems. It's good to research our problems so that it comes from a position of data impact. One of the things I learned so much, doing BudgIT is that people just want to jump on their bias and they don't want to look at the underlying data and what powers things. But as Africa, there's a huge gap on data. I run a side company which I call Clever. And you will be shocked that out of 52 countries in Africa, only 18 countries in Africa have a proper statistical bureau. By the time you leave the major countries and you get into like a Burundi, a Somalia, you don't even have a statistical office to even get like a proper GDP data, a proper inflation data. And I'm not even talking about high-end data. I'm talking about everyday data like export, import, balance of trade, GDP, and also most times they are either your source of your data is whatever what bank is saying, whatever IMF is saying. And most of those data don't exist. Someone is just one Harvard graduate or intern is just extrapolating the numbers down the street here and says, oh, they grew by 2%, that means the export grew by 2%. There's some need for us to put more rigor in terms of data measurement in Africa. Because there's no way we're going to be able to impact communities if we don't put more work into the data, put more work around what exactly have we been targeting for these communities? So I want to first again thank Chase, then all of you for showing up in this place. Our office is 8 floors. The 8th floor, which we call Open Gov, is a collective space for civic organizations. So we also have a space in there, and we are mostly focused on public finance in West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. We do some work in the US too. It's called BudgIT in Chicago and also in Maryland, around fiscal education and public budget. So it's a pleasure working you to a space, and I'm thankful that Destiny has brought us all together. I'm hoping to learn also from all of you, and how we can make what Chase has brought together here in terms of relationship, career, cross-sector collaboration, and practical pathways for converting dialogue to measure influence. Thank you very much.
All right, another round of applause for our chair, please. Awesome. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Are we energized? What's the energy in the room? Who is a one here? Okay, good. Yeah, one. Okay, we need to raise that. Who is a 3? A 5? An 8? Good. Who is a 10? A 9? Please, let's not replicate the African problem, or there's incomplete data in this room. But a round of applause for yourself as well. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Next up, let's see. As you can imagine, we have a lot of builders in the room. So I'm going to invite some of our colleagues here to just talk us through some of the assets that they've been building. Again, this is the Handshake Summit. Somebody might be building something you need. Somebody might hold insights that you need to inform what you're building. So let's approach this segment with an open mind. You can get interactive if you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and call on Bobola to talk to us about 2 initiatives that he is leading up. Please, a round of applause for Bobola. Just to preview what's coming, we're going to have a panel discussion. We're having this technology showcase now, and then we're going to have a mindful moment, and we're going to be presenting awards to our Handshake honorees. So please sit tight and enjoy this ride. Over to you, Bobola.
Hi everyone, Bobola Debi. I'm passionate about poverty alleviation, and that's what brought me into creating, using technology to create solutions that help people to achieve their goals in order to have a better life. 27. So I'm originally CPA by profession. I work at PwC as a tax consultant on hedge funds and private equity clients. And while I was at PwC, I co-led the global blockchain community. 2019, when nobody was really talking about blockchain as it is today, and bringing all of that together, using technology to create solutions, I discovered using blockchain to solve cross-border payment challenges, which turned to cross-coding, where we are building liquidity infrastructure for cross-border payments using stablecoins, so that businesses in emerging markets especially in Africa, can have access to US dollars, be able to pay suppliers around the world, and better manage their capital balances efficiently. In addition to that, while I was doing that, I also realized that Susu or Ajo, whatever you know it as, centuries old financial solution is still very much effective today. And many of us, carry the tradition into the US here where we live, or whether it's Canada. And while doing research and all of that, and talking to people in the financial technology space, I realized that not only Nigerians or Africans, participate in Joe, Susu, or whatever you call it. Mexicans do it, Jamaicans, even South Koreans. It's like very, very big over there. And so I'm like, this is a solution that it's helping people that knows about it today, but can also help others, especially Westerners that don't know about it. Everybody, is experiencing, one way, regardless of the country where you live, people experience financial stress and it's increasing. And so why not digitize it and make it accessible to everyone, so that people can participate in it in order to build a financial stability. And so we started Safe Circle to digitize group savings, and not only for individuals, but in order for us to be able to scale it, decided to offer it as a new financial wellness benefit that employers can offer to their employees, and co-workers of the same organization participate in it through automatic payroll deduction, and they rotate receiving the lump sum. So I'm just going to show a quick video just so you can understand it.
For millions of workers, saving money feels impossible. Employers see the impact, but solutions are limited. Introducing Save Circle, where employees save together and take turns collecting a lump sum. No loans, no stress. Just financial security made simple. Save Circle is launching soon, and we're looking for founding. Don't wait. Be the first to experience the future of savings. Join the movement today.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ola, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, now, you talk about the adjust, right?
Yeah.
So, the people that are going to be involved in this type of distribution, are they going to be from the same company, or they could be from different companies?
That's a good question. So it's going to be the same company.
Same company.
Yes.
And will there be any form of legal agreement between them? If one of the employees defaults, who is going to be responsible?
Yeah, that's a good question. So remember I said the contribution is going to come through automatic payroll deduction. Okay. So that means it's the same way employers offer benefits today, 401k, 403b, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So employees will sign up through the employers, and there will be a dashboard for employer to manage the employees within the organization. And so when somebody leaves, for example, right, you remember there's always a pay that is left for the person to receive when they get fired or they leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so the employer can use that to cover for for the rest of the payment.
I have a counter question to what you have.
Okay.
So I think what is probably concerned about, sorry, I'm not reading your mind, is the security part of it. So when you said Isusu Ajo, we all know the tradition that the people who hold the money, somebody disappears. That is a real concern. And fortunately, we have some good companies that encourage help. There have opportunities to help people like that. So in addition to leaving, we have some people that just retire, but they still want to be part of this program. So do you have items like that for them? And you can just highlight some of the security measures you have in place for this.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so it's not only benefit system. Individuals can also get on the app, App Store, download, invite their friends and family, create a group and invite their friends and family to participate together. And the contribution would be directly from their bank accounts. So when they are joining the group, creating an account, they add their bank accounts to it, and so that and it will be set so that on the day of contribution, the system will deduct the funds from everyone's bank accounts. Well, we know you can put your bank account and the system may not need funds there, right? Similar to you can create an automatic pay to pay your bills, and sometimes there can be missed payments. And so when they are joining, there will be an agreement that when the system will try to collect the funds more than one time, and if they do not receive it, there will be it will show, because everyone in the group will see each other. Everyone will know who has paid and who is yet to pay, right? And it then that becomes a loan to the person who defaults, because there will be an agreement that will be signed, and then that becomes a loan, and the company will go after the person for collections.
Just one more question and then we'll continue with the program.
I just want to ask, so is he actually...
Thank you so much, Babola, for that presentation. Next up, we're going to have our high-level panel discussion themed Beyond the Hype. And the core question for this panel is, how do we democratize access to development finance and unlock alternative funding pathways for private infrastructure investors who are ready to build today? We have a dynamic panel today featuring Kome Igbogidi. Please join us. Bobola Odebiyi, Dr. Oluseun Ojo, J. Adewale, Dr. Femi Salami, Bosede Akimbosule. And just to do a pulse check, we don't have Richard Ojuri with us, Eyitayo and Najad. Is Najad in the room with us? Welcome. And we have Wanto in the room. Awesome. This panel is going to be moderated by our very own Chaste Inebedian. Moderator.
Thank you so much to the MC for keeping us moving with time. Great presentation from Oluseun Ogunde. It's an honor to have so much great personalities in the room. Thank you, Sherry, for taking time out to join us. Senior writer at Fortune, who is one of our honorees for tonight. We also have Wendiva in the room, who will also be performing this evening. We have some great session. Please do bear with us. And Victor also will be sharing with us updates from Omniverse City. So Victor, keep us posted from chatting so we know what's happening. Today the event is being live streamed, and we're thankful to have you all in the room. Distinguished panelists today, we're taking on a very, very serious subject, which is of utmost importance to us. And a lot of people would have asked us, why do we have up to 10 people on the panelists, And for us, the quest is not just to have so many people saying the same thing, but taking on different perspectives as they are important to us. And we do not take this for granted, making sure that people have decided to join us. So we welcome you to Beyond the Hype. This is not a panel, this is a deal-making room. We are not here for dialogue, we're here for MOU execution. Every voice in this room represents capital, capability, or conviction. And by the end of this session, the expectation is simple. We move ideas into action. My name is Chase Dinegbedia. I'm a human-centered technologist and global system builder working at the intersection of AI, public health, and institutional trust. Over the last 10 years, I was in the space of menstrual health and menopause. And they would ask me, what does a man know about menstruation? They call me Mr. Padman. So through my work with Semaform Foundation and ConcordeApp, I focus on one thing, turning relationship into measurable outcome. And today is no difference. So for the premise of this conversation, so you understand why we're having this dialogue, we must ground ourselves in the truth. Africa's infrastructure gap, particularly in the power sector, is not a technology problem, it's a financing problem. In developed markets, capital is priced in single digits. In countries like Nigeria, where I come from, even wearing the green and white, developers face lending rates as high as 30 to 36%. At that cost, long-term infrastructure is not difficult. It's not just difficult, it is impossible. And yet, over 600 million people across Africa still lack access to electricity. At the same time, demand is accelerating, driven by AI, data infrastructure, and digital economies that depend on reliable power. The tension. We're in a moment of contradiction. Global commitments are increasing, policy signals are improving, risk classifications are evolving, but the cost of capital on the ground remains unchanged. So the question is not whether capital exists, the question is why is it not reaching the people and the project that needs it the most? You've heard from Bobola earlier about cross-study. So the core question is, how do we democratize access to the development finance and unlock alternative funding pathways for private infrastructure investors who are ready to build today? So we're setting expectations for the room. Please bear with us, put your phones on silent so we can minimize distraction. I know you have so many places to be, but we would like to make this a walking session and not a passive one. So you saw Dr. Salami asking some direct questions to Bobola earlier on. So we want you to stay present and make this as collaborative and outcome-driven as possible. The room is created with intention, and that's why we have capital allocators in the room. We have operators, we have policy thinkers, we have builders, we even have journalists. So the expectation is simple. You do not speak in theory, you speak in commitment. So if you're a financier, what can you unlock? If you're a builder, what do you need? If you're a policymaker, what can you remove? This is a space where clarity meets action. So I go into my panelists. Bosade Fumi Akim Bolusere is a global development leader with over 20 years of experience across non-profit and humanitarian systems. Former faculty at African Leadership University, focused on gender equality and empowerment, a trusted advisor shaping impact across agriculture, health, and vulnerable communities. So my question, Bosade, where is the biggest breakdown between funding intentions and real impact on the ground?
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you everyone. I'm happy to be here for the beautiful handshake. I look forward to all the handshakes I'm going to receive here today. Yeah, the question, like you said, we talk about the capital, we have the capital. But the question is it getting to the right people? Is it being used judiciously? When we look at climate financing, the greatest emission comes from agriculture. But where is the greatest funding going into? It's not agriculture, definitely. And who are represented in agriculture? We know we have more women, we have more vulnerable groups. There's a lot that is being put by government all over the world. It's like we create problems that we try to fix. Well, there are enough problems already because of the way capital is moving. And like I said earlier, it's not about not having the capital, it's about using it judiciously. Government are planning for more than, not for more what is needed, but putting the right peg in the right square. I mentioned climate financing. I mentioned the emission we have in agriculture, and with 33% emission, 2% funding going into it. Where is the remaining money going into? We pay a lot of there's need for alignment of this funding, of this available funding, so that our money, the available capital, no matter how minute, no matter how limited it is, it's used judiciously for what it is needed. That is this what we need now. That is, it's just like house is burning in the living room and the firefighter in the kitchen. I mean, that's not the solution. Yes, the firefighter are there, but they're not where it's supposed to be. So what is needed now is that now the available money, can we use it where it's being needed most? Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Madam Bossade. And I like that you're keeping to our dress code in green and white. Hopefully you get the best dress. Some of my brothers and family are just joining us in the house. Dr. Tagwa Zubike, thank you for joining us. Mr. Oswald, thank you so much for joining us for today's event. So my question will go to Jay. Sorry, I'm managing the slide now. My question will go to Jay Adewale, who is a business strategist and managing partner at Point of View Consulting, advisor to founders building scalable, structured businesses, known for helping leaders move from hustle to clarity and execution. So Jay, what are infrastructure developers getting wrong when positioning for capital?
All right, thank you so much. Good to be here. First of all, I believe in a lot of infrastructure developers, they make one huge mistake when they are seeking for capital. And the mistake is they often design their proposal or the structure, they design it for sympathy. What I mean is, they talk about their vision. This is what I want to achieve. This is my goal. This is the goal of the project. All right, thank you. So, they have a lot of passion, and they even have strong ideas. But being in that space whereby I sit on board and we decide on if you're going to work with the project or not, I know that having a good idea, good vision, good strategy, oh, it's going to look good in the mouth, is different from operational readiness. Do you have strategic alignment? Do you have financial clarity? Let me give you an example. There's one founder that we had the other time, and they were working on a project, and the project they want to work on, and they needed a lot of capital to be invested in that. When we asked them, okay, can you break down the numbers you guys are going to make in the next 2-3 years? And the numbers we were talking about, I had somebody who was in KPMG for more than 15 years. That person was like, this number is not even right. All right? I'm not a numbers person. I'm not a business person. So what am I trying to say is, most founders just focus on numbers only. They just talk about, it's not by the books. So to cut long story short, the issue is not that capital is missing. The issue is that the project is not investment ready. So if you have a project you're working on, sit down and ask yourself a question. Is this project or this thing I'm building, is it investment ready? I mean, nobody's going to buy how passionate you are with the story. People want to buy how is it going to benefit them or benefit the society with real numbers, and also if you have good team members. Somebody who have done, I mean, if you have a team, you're seeking for capital, and maybe one of your founders is like, let me just give an example, maybe Jeff Bezos, right? You know that, okay, this person has done it before, so I can actually count on the founder to be able to deliver this project. So work on your project or whatever you're doing to make sure it's ready for investment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jay, for sharing that. And we're moving as fast as we can just to make this very interesting. Truly, another significant thing that we'll be doing with this event is that we'll also be recognizing individuals who are taking their time to also keep up with the pace of supporting the community and supporting the equation that we do. I have a brother in the house also, Tokwe Son, who works with my pad and also very great in the speed of mining also. A round of applause for him, please. So pretty much we'll be drawing up some surprises with our honorees tonight, where we'll be having inclusion of Tokwe Son and Mr. Oswald on that list, but we'll take you back to that in the coming segment. But let's take the next question from Bobola, founder and CEO of ConcordeApp. Bobola, what does it take to unlock liquidity for infrastructure players in constrained market?
Thank you. Like people have said, the problem is not capital. There is capital, in constrained markets, but it is inaccessible. Right now, there are funds available, but it's fragmented. It's due to FX restrictions and also being idle. And what it takes is a stable currency system that makes funds accessible to project owners, and an infrastructure, a trusted infrastructure that connects global capital to project owners on the continent. An example is, there are many diasporas, around the world, that would love to invest on the continent, but there is no trusted infrastructure for them to be able to do that. Everyone is talking about, Africa is next in terms of, developments, and many people in the diaspora would love to participate in that. There's a lot of capital, right? We send money back home, to support families, remittances and stuff. We have, many people build, projects back home. But in terms of actually investing in, in infrastructure, over there, it's still, the percentage of diasporas that are participating in that is still it's a very small percentage, right? So the awareness to be able to participate instantly and, and not, in an expensive way.
Thank you so much for sharing that. We're moving forward as Dr. Olusegun Ojo, International Management Consultant with over 20 years in healthcare. Dr. Seun, what does an effective public-private partnership look like in execution?
Thank you, Mr. Chase. I'm just going to be practical. I'm going to look at it in the area of SDG. So the United Nations actually came together at the close of MDG. They came up with the 16 goals. And after coming up with the 16 goals, they saw a vacuum. And the vacuum is that how do we make sure that no one is left behind? How do we turn those goals to ensure that it embraces globalization and no one is left behind? And that's what actually gave birth to Goal 17. That's a revitalization of the global partnership, whereby government institutions, private sectors, and non-government institutions are being brought together into the room to ensure that they come together to foster a synergy whereby everybody is going to be carried along. So I'm going to say this again, that organizations cannot really embark on a big project when it comes to big project without partnership. And that's the reason why you see banks, oil companies having an office of corporate social responsibility. They call it CSR. Okay, we allocate this so amount of funds annually to this office. This is the society problem we want to give. We want to give back to the society, but we cannot do it directly by ourselves without living, going to, to the local people, to going to the grassroots. So we're going to have a CSR office whereby an allocation is going to be given to that office, and this office in turn is going to give out grants to local NGOs, and they can execute the projects for us. So that is where PPP comes, public-private partnership. The government also embark on PPP. At times, maybe we want to train among a number of teachers. In the wake of AI now, the new technology, a lot of teachers in primary schools will be trained. Now we cannot do it by ourselves. Let me take this NGO in Nigeria called Paradigm Initiative, pinned by Gbenga Sheson. Now, when Microsoft came to Nigeria, they came with their grant, and they had a country office in Nigeria, and they said, this is what we want to do. We want to go into the education sector of Nigeria. We want to train a number of teachers. We want to give them this, that. And we cannot do it by ourselves in the name of Microsoft. Now, we need NGOs who are in the area of education and who can educate teachers for us. So they gave grants to some NGOs. PIN was one of the beneficiaries. That's Paradigm Initiative in Nigeria. And they say, this is the number of teachers we want to train over the period of 3 years, and we want you to do this for us. So that's where partnership comes in. So the purpose and the main primary goal of public-private partnership, or even maybe private-private partnership, is that no one is left behind. As we see in the EU of SDG, Goal 17. After the 16 goals, we say we cannot do all these things by ourselves. We still need. Then they came up with Goal 17, which means revitalization of global partnership in order for us to be able to fulfill the all 16 goals and make sure that no citizen or global citizen or anybody is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ojo, for the round of applause for him. I hope we're still getting you all engaged. We'll try to move this as fast because we still have Dr. Femi Salami, we have Najad, we have Komer. So the next question will be for Dr. Femi Salami, mining engineer, academic, and founder of MinePro. Your question is, as the world accelerates towards clean energy, how do you see critical minerals and climate-smart mining reshaping Africa's role in the global economy?
Yeah, thank you very much, Shay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, after the Paris Agreement, the global leaders agreed that we need to transition to cleaner energy. Using battery technology, battery metals for electric vehicles and lights. But here's the thing: for us to build a single electric vehicle, you need 6 times the amount of minerals you need to build an internal combustion engine. A petrol vehicle. Thank you. Am I audible enough now?
Yes, we can hear you.
So try to learn some stuff. Anyways, yeah, good. So for you to build a single internal combustion engine, a vehicle that uses petrol, you need 6 times less, which means if you want to build an electric vehicle, you need 6 times more of minerals to build those cars. And what you need materials like lithium, cobalt, etc. to build a single internal combustion engine. So now here's the idea. For us to build a single electric vehicle engine, we realize that those production are going to be more mineral intensive. So to transition from the so-called carbon energy, coal and hydrocarbons to greener energy or battery energy, you need more minerals, mineral intensive. So more mining needs to be done. The minerals are not grown in the lab, they are mined in the pit, right? So you need to do basic exploration, geophysics, and all the stuff to actually get those minerals. So at the end of the day, to produce those minerals, you still need to use like diesel fleet to produce those minerals. So you're actually creating, additional greenhouse gases, causing more pollution to produce those minerals you need for energy transition. I think one of the major problems in Paris Agreement is that those people that drafted the agreement and talked about transitioning to battery vehicles don't know about mining engineering and don't even know where those minerals are going to be coming from. And I think that has been a major paradox between policymakers and the technical person who actually do all this stuff. So, and the role of Africa is very important. Africa is sitting at the cruise, at the center of this transition. 30% of global Taiwan, Tai 2, and Tai 3 mineral deposits lie fallow in Africa, right? But the entire value chain of the mining industry is about $4 trillion, right? So, however, for us to meet the climate ambition, if we want to meet the climate ambition for 2030 and ensure that we're able to reduce greenhouse gases, we need to invest about $10 trillion in mineral exploration alone, not production. 10 trillion. So that's like 2.5 times the entire value chain of the mining industry currently. So, which is right now, which is almost looking impossible to achieve within the next time frame. So, and what is the major question? For every 100 billion that is spent on exploration, about less than 10% goes to Africa. And Africa is the continent that has these minerals that are going to be used for those energy transitions.
The recording has stopped.
What have we done?
Keep going, keep going.
Okay. So here are the basic things we need to put in place. Apart from South Africa, that has competent mining engineers that will sign up on any mining investment document, we don't really have a lot of competent, standardized competent engineers in Africa that will sign on those documents. For any investor to put in money into a mining project, there's a document called the NI 43101 that needs to be presented for investment decision making, right? So I speak to you right now from the database I have, we don't have anybody in Nigeria that will be able to sign on those type of documents. So how do investors put in money for exploration in Nigeria? So to de-risk the system, this is what we have proposed, that African governments should, invest money in exploration, data generation, and they need to make the data public. Exploration data should not be like a secret court, where you go to maybe for instance, Nigerian Development Survey and say, oh, they can't see this map. You have to see the map. Investors need to see the location of those places. Seeing the location of the minerals doesn't imply that somebody is going to go steal those minerals, because you can't even steal them just like that. You still need to do drilling after your geophysics before those things can be done. So again, I'm going to say that Africa is not just playing a role in the global energy transition. Africa is leading that role because that is where the mineral is. And I'm going to summarize the point by saying that two things are very important for mineral extraction. The number one thing that you cannot change is geology. The geology of the deposit, that is unchangeable, the way God has created it. So you have to go to wherever the mineral is located. You can't transfer those minerals. So the geology has favored us. But the second thing that has not favored Africa is the policy index. The policy perception index is one of the major hindrances to investing in the mining sector in Africa to develop those critical minerals necessary for energy transition. And our studies have shown, and one of my review paper I wrote recently has shown that, according to the Fraser Institute, that investors would rather go for high policy perception and low mineralization compared to high mineralization and very poor policy index. So these are some of the nuances we need to correct too. Although we have the minerals, but the minerals themselves will not actually generate revenue until we change the policy perception index and investors will have high confidence to put in their money. We don't want to put in money and realize that if election happens in Nigeria next year, our licenses are going to be revoked. We don't want those type of situations. So investors want that policy stability for a long time to put in their money, even though we have the mineral resources. But resources doesn't transform to wealth until it is actually mined, processed, beneficiated, and converted into final product. I'll take the other question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salami. A round of applause for him. We have Mr. Babatunde Rosso, a brother after my heart from the African Union, who will be joining Mr. Lucia Unigwinde later on in the segment of the event to help us do justice to presenting the awards. So I will go quickly to Najat. Najat is an investment analyst with experience across global markets and early stage investing. So Najat, from your vantage point across global markets, you've heard from Dr. Sheun, you've heard from Bobola, you've heard from Mama Kwosede. How are investors currently pricing risks when it comes to Africa and diaspora-led infrastructure and innovation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously let's start with the funding gap and why that exists. There is a gap of more than 100 billion when it comes to funding agriculture across the continent of Africa. Some estimates are $70 to $200 billion per year annually. And that exists because structurally, when we think of agriculture in Africa, we're really trying to tackle some issues, some risks surrounding the supply chain, right? Do we have a sufficient supply chain where we are dependent on the roads, the next person, the middlemen to get whatever supplies that we are producing from one village to the city, things of that sort that seem very minuscule but very much so important in the context of having a reliable source of agricultural input and output. The second thing that we have to think about when I think of the risks that investors are pondering on is the fact that, you know, obviously there are no credit ratings that a farmer might have. Like, there's no credit history that a farmer might have. So on a very practical scale, I want us to take a step back when we think of investing in Africa. Let's not think of investing in terms of the billions, but let's think of how do we solve these like local risks that we have. There is a company in Kenya. There's a company in Kenya, for instance. They're called Farm Drive, and they actually help farmers build up their credit score, right? So venture capital might actually invest in that company while the infrastructure or while the credit histories of farmers are being really addressed and really looked at. Another company that I was amazed by is Hello Tractor. Hello Tractor is like the Uber for tractors in East Africa. And so using technology, really, you're able as a farmer, as a local farmer, to order your tractor, something that is so crucial, but yet obviously affects the output that a tractor would be able to produce in a day, right? All of these things speak to how we can effectively make agriculture efficient for small to medium-sized enterprises. And so for the investor, an investor might invest in companies like Hello Tractor, but in terms of investing at large into the farmers directly, we need to be able to build a farmer's credit score, credit history. That's what makes, obviously, commercial lending more complicated. We also need to explore other creative ways to de-risk financing. So we're thinking of blended finance, for instance, right? Where a great example of that is in Ghana. In Ghana, they have a system where they're investing in the farmers, but to de-risk the actual investing, you're able to pull in money from donors from the African bank in order to pay off, you know, the lenders 30 to 70% of their original of the original capital that they bought, that they lend in case it's not paid back. So we have to find creative ways to de-risk the risk that, you know, traditional lenders face. But we also need to think creatively. Again, if you are an entrepreneur, you know, maybe you should start a company that is based on creating the credit history or helping the credit history of farmers, as opposed to just thinking of how do we help a multi-billion agricultural company. So in essence, we have to start small, and we also need creative capital solutions.
Thank you so much, Najad. We're still having the Handshake Summit Award. We thank our guests for still staying with us. We'll be rounding off the panel session. But there's this powerful person I always like to have her speak last. Her name is Kome Bogidi, Senior Product Manager at ServiceNow, leading AI and conversational system. So Kome, how can AI create transparency and trust in infrastructure financing?
Thank you. And I think I suspected that, you know, it's his trick to let me go last every time. But he just confirmed that. And good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I would rephrase that question. So instead of how can AI create transparency, It would be, how can humans build AI to create transparency? Because I feel like what we're thinking now is selling the human in the loop wheel to artificial intelligence, which it shouldn't be so. There have been a lot of theories about AI changing the human system, AI working, and no one is talking about AI hallucinating and AI misjudging. So, in the truth of that question is, how can humans really create AI systems that are transparent? And I think about it this way. How many of us, and I do this a lot when I speak, how many of us utilize AI of any sort? GPT, cloud. So, okay, so everyone in some capacity. How many of us have taken time to train your AI in any way? Created a project. Do we know we create projects with your AI algorithms? Have you trained it? Put in prompts? Okay. How many of us have uploaded real-time data to ensure that everything we ask our AI algorithm are accurate? Okay, the answer, a few hands. So you see, these are the things that make AI what it is. But we don't use it. We use AI as ask, get answers. Forgetting that artificial intelligence works garbage in, garbage out. Talking about transparency, it would be that if every one of us take actionable steps to create algorithms that help them, what you would end up doing is creating AI systems that are transparent in, firstly, how money moves. So we're talking about financial systems. And financial systems also have to do with monetization. How many of us know how much our federal governments and our state governments give and allocate for businesses and finances? Very few. Probably only those at the corridor of the power or authority know that. How many of us know when, for civil societies or organizations that receive funding from the government, do exactly what they ask? None of us really care. So we're talking about transparency with AI, and we're talking about the AI systems that should build the transparent systems. So what I always recommend is not just having conversations in you knowing what artificial intelligence can help you do, is you not taking the active step of creating or working together to create algorithms and systems that also foster and help your society and yourself. You know, there have been a lot of jargons and big languages that most of us most likely heard for the first time today. And for some, like me, I really care less about the jargons. Why? Because as an AI expert, all I need to do is to create my algorithm to explain it to me. But you see that there are little AI systems that can do that in reality. How can we create equitable AI systems that explain the big lingers that you don't understand in finance? You don't have a background in finance, you just want to do business. You have an idea that seems great, but now you get into places where you need to apply for loans, you need to apply for grants, you need to get yourself at the corridor of where it needs to be. And you're hearing financial lingo that you don't understand. I'm trying to think about the report, but I think it was sometime in 2022 or 2023, and there was over a 55% of those who attend the IMF World Bank Spring Meeting leave that room confused. Why? Because most of the lingers that have been at the corridor are very on the high-tech finance sector, but the lay folks and civil societies that come into the room have no clue what's going on right there. What happened to equitable systems whereby you're able to break down those algorithms to the lame way? And you're able to understand algorithms that can also track risks. So now I have an interest and I understand things because I'm a business owner. Well, I haven't done this before, but I think it's cool because the UN just opened something and said, you know what, call for proposers. Apply for $20 million and you think you have the capacity to it. No risk assessment, no one who's training you. How about creating AI systems that can help you in those knowledge? So what I want to leave everyone from this meeting is that how can we all work together to create the most equitable AI algorithms that serves us with the right data, serves us with the right information. The World Bank in Washington, D.C. do not know the peculiarity of what's happening in Mombasa. Nor do they know what is needed in Tanzania as much as those who are from those regions. So when you live here and you're trying to create systems that work for you, for the African region, be it in Nigeria, Ghana, whatever that you're looking for, is sit down to think about what are the data that we need in our day-to-day. How can we simplify this to help and build algorithms? And guess what? The AI in today's systems are actually getting smarter in a way that you can build whatever you want on those systems. So they're really templates. The templates to help you, let's use them. Don't just ask questions and get answers. Train them. be involved in the training so you don't end up having the garbages that come out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coleman. It's always great when we have this type of conversation. The only thing that we don't have as friends is time, and we have two fireside hosts. We have a guest artist who will be taking us on Donor Summer, Work Hard for the Money. We have an award presentation, and we understand that people have other segments, so we would have to appeal to our panelists that what they've been able to share today, the conversation still continues. We'll be able to ask people, engage with them directly and ask questions. But we're reinforcing the outcome. Let me be clear about success. Success is not applause. Success is alignment. Follow-up should be already scheduled. Partnership should be initiated. Commitment can be tracked. So from what we've been able to hear from Posede Akibusulere, Kome Bogidi, my friend from Koskudi, Dr. Olusegun Ojo, Jay Adewale, Dr. Femi Salami, and Najad, we're saying, you
guys ready to dance? Woo!
She was hard for the money, so hard for me, honey. She was hard for the money, yeah, treat her right. She works hard for the money, so hard for you, honey. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right. In the day of corner, where she is. Woo! Praise to her, so give us to her everything. 98 at the hour, and she's waiting for the bell. And just waiting for her clientele. She was hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. She was hard for the money, so you better treat her right. She was hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. She was hard for the money, so you better treat her right. 28 years have come and gone. come online. She say you will come for my life. Hypnotize, 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 hypnotize. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Hypnotize, 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 hypnotize. Not again. Too much money, let me run go. Me, I want to spray everything on you. On you, on you. See, I'm not trying to fake it. Because you're loud, so I think into focus. I know reverse. Everything I do now is check. Hypnotize, 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 hypnotize. But I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Hypnotize, 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 hypnotize. Give me a yeah. Don't go. No. Don't go.
Folks in the back of the room,
can we take our seats?
Please take our seats.
Can you take the seats? It's a lot to be.
Everyone, please take your seats. We're about to recognize some special people in the room.
Please, can you all fill the front set for our production purpose so we can get this right? Roll call.
May I please have Shenwoni Binde and Babatunde Roson who join me at the top, please? Along with Chase as well, please. So at this point in the program, we would like to recognize some special people in the room with us for our Handshake Award ceremony. This is an award that honors distinguished leaders for their outstanding contributions to global leadership, disruptive innovation, and cross-sector collaboration. So can we have some drum rolls, please? One drum roll that will announce our awardees for this year. We have Kome Igogidi. And the photography. Kome is an AI product leader at ServiceNow and the founder of Tribe's Kitchen. She's been honored for her dual impact at the intersection of artificial intelligence, innovation, and community building through culinary expertise.
What is the video?
Okay. A round of applause for her, please.
30-second acceptance.
Speech, no way.
Thank you. Thank you all for. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for being here and honoring me today. I'm so excited. I was sharing earlier with someone that's so dear to my heart, and I recently met Ms. Adwola. And one of the things I was speaking to her about was not so long ago, coming into the United States and starting in from school and all. I had one vision, and it was really to stand in for what I believe and really change the world as much as I can. So I believe that the change that I desire in the world starts with me. And so excited to putting myself out there to speak more about what I believe for social change, but particularly being one of the few Black women at the intersection of artificial intelligence, and not just being there alone, but working every day tirelessly to bring in more young people into the space of artificial intelligence. So honored to be here. Thank you for the Handshake Summit. And this is so cute. Thank you.
So Mr. Babatunde will give the next set of award to the next person.
So cute.
The next Handshake Award is Cheryl Estrada. Cheryl is senior writer and fortune and co-chair of the CFO Collaborative. She is being recognized for her influential journalism and leadership in shaping the global corporate finance narrative for today's CFOs and power players. Congratulations.
So video.
Thank you so much. A quick
30-second acceptance.
Thank you so much for this award. It really means a lot to me. It's so inspiring to be here at this event, to hear about the ways that we are thinking about making finance more inclusive, thinking of creative ways as we're in the days of AI and blockchain, and using creativity in order to do that. So in my day-to-day, I talk with a lot of CFOs and corporates, and really trying to kind of drive that message, and just excited about what the possibilities are if we all come together and share our ideas and make them happen. So thank you.
That's Sharon.
Our next awardee is Lola Oguntade, founder of New Spring Consult and a licensed mental health expert, is being honored for her human-centered approach to workforce wellness and her leadership in designing social impact programs that bridge the gap between policy and community well-being. Congratulations, Lola.
Let's take pictures first.
We'll take a picture first.
Take a picture of the awards.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lola Oguntade, and I feel very excited and honored, to be receiving this award, especially the quality of people giving me this award. I haven't seen him in the last 11 years, and he just came here randomly. And Mr. Shimwa has been like a support system. So I feel really honored, and thank you to Mr. Chase for this. Thank you very much. I'm very honored. My name is Lola Oguntade, and I'm the founder of New Spring Consult. I'm a licensed mental health therapist in the state of Maryland, and I'm passionate about, stress, emotional well-being of people. Like, we are the new adults, and we all go out to do a lot of work. So how are we managing ourselves, our families, and everything? And I'm also passionate about policy, politics, and everything that centers around human well-being.
Thank you and congratulations. Our next awardee is Dr. Olusegun Ojo, Executive Director of Sentability of Maryland, who is being honored for his dedicated service in advancing community capacity building, social equity, and organizational development in underserved populations. Congratulations.
Group, sure. The group one?
Yeah, this is a video.
So bear with us, we're taking the honorees. We still have a fireside chat with Joy, Ferdinand, and Aditola.
Yeah, I just want to, first of all, dedicate the award. Mr. Shim was saying something the other time. There's a lot of African guys who are back home doing wonderful things, doing great things. Like some of us that we were able to bootstrap and, find ourselves at the corridor of high level, meetings over here. But some of them are still back home over there, and they are doing great things, fantastic things. So I'm taking this award on behalf of them, and I pray that as much as they are doing, trying to make the world a better place, the effects of their efforts will bring light to Africa, and Africa will. Like, Mr. What do you say the other time? Are we rising or we are? Yeah, we'll rise. We'll rise. We'll rise. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Our next awardee is Stephen Ogutoyinbo. Round of applause, please. Founder of recognized for his pioneering work in amplifying African voices and cultural narratives through global broadcast media.
This is the whole boy award.
This is
a whole boy award. It should be jointly presented.
Jointly presented.
All right, go. All right, I'd like to dedicate this award to, I'd like to say thank you to people who have encouraged us. 20 years ago, I saw this man in a school called Ojota, if you remember when we were doing the MDG goals. And way back, I thought he went in transit, and I never saw him until I saw him today again. Thank you so much for encouraging young people over the years, and your doggedness, your encouragement, and also finding people like Mr. Shimoni also here. And one thing I always say, together we aspire, together we achieve, together we make great things happen. For we can, we will, and we must. Thank you.
All right. Our next awardee is Oswald Osaritin Gubadia, who is being recognized for his contribution to public policy on the continent.
Is it coming? Yeah, it's taking an imagine. So,
yeah. Our next awardee is Tokbe Eson, who is being recognized for his leadership of MyPad, the most influential people of African descent, a civil society initiative in partnership with the United Nations International Decade of People of African Descent. Congratulations. Pleasure. 30 seconds.
Hi everyone. I'd like to thank the Academy for this event. I'd like to thank the organizers of this event. Typically, I'm the one giving out awards. I've been doing awards for over 25 years. Between the Nigeria Entertainment Award, which some of you might have heard of, I did that for 15 years, transitioned into the most influential people of African descent. We've been doing that for about a decade now. And over those years, we've identified and recognized over 3,000 most influential people all over the world. And we have over about 50 people that support what we do. So this is dedicated to them. We have people in almost every country in the world that help us carry this work out. This really belongs to them. We're just helping to shape and guide them in all the work they do. So where's the recording? This goes to you, the MyPad team, not me. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
An emergency call. Hopefully it comes at
Oswald Osaritin Gubadia. Okay, we'll present that award later. Please round of applause for our honorees.
Can we have all honorees in the front so we take a quick picture while James continues?
While the photos are open, I'd love to recognize Chinua Azubike for joining us.
Can you hold your awards? Stephen, Lola, let's do this quickly. Sheryl, please, we need you in this picture.
While this is ongoing, I will
Stephen, is this good? Is this good? Is this picture good?
Why do you want me
Can
to?
take
You are
care?
the one. He's taking it, don't worry. He's taking part. Oh, but he is blocking. Sorry. Oh,
Can I have Joy Ferdinand?
Maybe you should come in.
It's too far away.
Yeah,
Okay. You just hold on to it. Hold on to it, don't worry.
Dr. Tagbo, are you leaving? Don't leave. Don't leave. Can you join us in this picture, please? Okay, there you go. It's joining us, Hold on, please.
Strategic pathways to building wealth through content creation and the lived realities of navigating life in the diaspora.
Thank you, everyone. I think it was just my yeah. So we have Joy here and Aditola. Joy is a PhD student in criminal justice. And literary work. Our research focused on reentry, reintegration, gender, social support, and justice policy, with a particular attention to the experiences of formerly incarcerated individuals. Alongside our academic work, she's engaged in reentry and advocacy and global leadership through the UN Association of the USA and the World. Our work reaches scholarship, community engagement, and policy conversations on justice, dignity, and reform. So, Joy, you're deep in the world of criminal justice and public policy. At a summit focused on survival kits here and economic impact. How can we leverage data and policy to protect the rights of the diaspora? And then, so that we ensure that their pursuits of prosperity doesn't just leave the most vulnerable members of our community behind in the legal system.
Sure. Thank you so much, Victor. By the way, happy birthday.
Thank
you.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you so much for this question. And Joy Ferdinand, and what I do is I get pretty involved in policy and criminal justice, and I work with formerly incarcerated individuals. So I think very important point to note, Victor, is especially us, not just Nigerians, like Africans in the diaspora, it's redefining what prosperity is. Because the truth is, everybody who traveled from every part of the world to come to this part of the world, we are hard workers, right? Work extremely hard. So redefining what prosperity is at the top of our head, if you ask anybody, what is prosperity to you? You know, we can come from the place of, oh, getting, you know, big houses, nice jobs, cars, and, you know, what have you, which is not a bad thing. They're quite important, or they're a necessity. But redefining what prosperity is, we can equally look at it in the aspect of legal protection. And coming from that angle, I know I've had first-hand experience what it is when someone don't have these legal protection, because I will be formerly incarcerated individuals. I know the price they pay for not getting that. So I think what the right question is, what needs to change, right? And I would say we need to bring in data and policy together, and I'm going to tell you what that means. So for data, as a researcher, anytime, you know, we're interacting with our professors, it's always, where is your data? Because data is fact, data is life, data is like, you know, everybody evidence, right? So when you so what does this data do? This data would give us an idea as to those who are most vulnerable in the diaspora community. With data, we would know those who are going through immigration issues. Through data, we would know those who have, you know, who have not been given right justice to things, those who have been marginalized, those who have been going through, you know, one or two issues. So this is what data does. Data exposes things. We then know these things. So when that is, when we have these at hand, we can then talk about policies. So that is where policy comes to play. Okay, we know that these are the issues, right, with diaspora community. These are the things they go through. So we then need to bring in policies or create policies that would be beneficial to them. Policies that would give them jobs, policies that would address immigration issues, policies, you know, and all of these issues. So
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So that I would say that, you know, data and policy would, you know, are very instrumental tool that needs to be merged together to work hand in hand. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Adetola Ademola is a content strategist, a diaspora educator, and speaker with communications degree and a background in journalism. She began her career as a reporter and newscaster at TV Continental in Lagos, Nigeria, before relocating to the United States. She's the founder of How to Survive in the Diaspora, a platform with over 100,000 followers where she leads culturally grounded conversations on identity, family, wealth, and the realities of building a life abroad. Through storytelling and content strategy, she has helped diaspora women find their voice and turn their lived experience into income. Adetola, you're welcome. And
Thank you.
We see you've mastered the heart of the diaspora survivor, the narrative and all of that with the platform over 100,000 followers. So for the professionals and the entrepreneurs in this room, what is the secret to turning lived experience into a bankable content strategy that builds actual wealth rather than just social media likes?
Now, I'm going to exercise, please forgive me, MC privileges, so we can just quickly honor our final honoree, and then we pick up this conversation. Who is being recognized for his contributions to public policy in Nigeria and Africa, and for his transition across multiple hats from being a corporate technologist to an entrepreneur and policymaker. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's do group one.
My brother come by me now.
Thank you.
And a 30 second.
30 seconds.
Okay, maybe 10. 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
So thank you for this. This is actually a very unique award. which I do appreciate. It's going to go on my mantle in my office. So this is really great that you guys are doing this. I'm seeing some very powerful names and resumes as I look at the things behind you guys. It's fantastic to have been here. I actually heard somebody talk about data and policy earlier, which is the area which I focus in, because ultimately what we try to do is understand what the pain points are in entrepreneurship and innovation, and we try to turn those pain points into provisions within law and within policy statements from government, and how to adjust regulation to enable public policy to do the right things as it relates to innovation and entrepreneurship. But this is fantastic. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
So we'll go back to Victor, and please, there.
You read it into it. So, Aliko and Diaspora Survival, with a platform of over 100,000 followers. So for the professionals and the entrepreneurs here, what are the secrets of turning this experience into a bankable content strategy that builds actual wealth rather than just social media likes?
Thank you so much. I'm going to first start by telling my story. I strongly believe that when I first moved to the US 12 years ago, one of the things that I had three main questions that I wanted to answer. It was how, why, and where. Where can I get this? How can I access this? You know, who can help me? What do I need? And I couldn't find anyone to help me to answer those questions. It was very challenging for me because, say, maybe I wanted to buy something I remember back home, maybe food that I love. I would research and maybe check online, and I wouldn't have any information on where to do it. When I also started having kids, I had questions about what school should they go to? How can I access swimming for them? Like just basic things. And I had no one to give me those solutions. I didn't have any answer to these questions. And that is how I came about, you know, how to survive in the diaspora, because I realized that survival, most times, even the word survival means, I just want to breathe. I don't want to, you know, wake up and have to start thinking about problems that I have. I want someone who can provide solutions for me on what to do and how to survive. And I realized that if there was no one doing it, then I could be the one providing those solutions to people. And that's how I started, because I realized that I had information that people didn't even know, right? Because I also got this information because someone told me. So I decided that, you know what, I'm going to start telling people what they don't know. I'm going to tell you where you can shop, where you can buy stuff. And that was how it started. But then, you know, I realized that it could be bigger. There were other questions that I had to help people answer. Questions to why are you even living in the diaspora? What can you do? How can you expand your reach? How can you get a better job? How can you live a better life? Right? So that's how it expanded. And now it has, you know, turned into something bigger. And I think that answers your question about how to turn your content into income. Your content can become income if all you're doing is just sharing pictures of yourself living your best life. Your content can become income when you start to share value, when you actually start telling people solutions to their problems. Recently, you know, I started teaching and coaching people how to actually make money on social media. And what I found is a lot of people, even from their bio, you can already tell they don't even know what they're doing. So your bio has to sell you, your page has to let people know that you have something to offer. I tell hairdressers that come to me to teach them how to get clients, I tell them that you have to teach people how to make hair on your platform. You can't just use your platform to just post every day, oh, I made 20 hairs this week and I made money. Okay, what about someone like me that is struggling with psoriasis, or maybe I have dry scalp? How can I treat my scalp? You can actually make content like that that will make people actually follow you because your content has value. I tell people who, you know, just have a business, right? You're selling clothes. You can actually make content to tell people, okay, if you're selling clothes in the diaspora, this is what you can do to actually ship your clothes into the USA without, you know, having any tariff problems. You have to provide value to people in order to make income. A lot of times people just want to create content for, you know, just for like, oh, let me just post, let people just see that I travel. But did you tell them how they can also make that trip using the income that they have? That is how you can turn, you know, your content into income, by creating content that actually converts and not just content that gets likes.
Thank you so much for that. thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up here, and I'll hand over to James. Thank you. Thank you. Lola Ogutade to the floor to lead us through a guided wellness session that's themed the alignment. A round of applause for Lola, please.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, my name is Lola Ogutade, and I'm going to be talking about something different, but we've all been talking since morning. And like I introduced myself earlier on, I'm a licensed mental health therapist in the state of Maryland, and I'm passionate about people, well-being, stress management, and everything. And I used to say we are the new adults. Like adults who came in and just creeping on unknowingly. And when you look at everybody in this room, I can tell we all wear more than one hat. And what do I mean by that? You're probably a dad, husband, son, CEO, best friend, uncle, auntie, investors, business person, right? And what that means is that we are being pulled in different directions. And you're being pulled in different directions by different people. And if you're not careful, you'll probably not be able to shut down mentally, because you know the way we have Chrome and you open multiple tabs on your Chrome laptop. So your brain will probably have multiple tabs because you're probably being pulled in different directions. So, and we all wear this badge of honor all the time. Oh, I'm busy, my calendar is blocked, I'm very occupied, I have this meeting, I have this deadline. That's how we all, most times live. And and this brought me, I looked at what we're talking about today, AI, people and everything. And I came up with this topic from like high performance energy to precision energy, right? So we've, the shift leaders can't ignore. We are in a time where performance is glorified, more output, fast delivery, constant availability. Somewhere along the line, exhaustion has become a badge of honor, and burnout has started to look like ambition. But let's pause and ask real questions. What happened? Because I've seen some people in this room and they make $1 million decisions. And if you don't make $1 million decisions, you probably make $100 decisions. We make decisions for your kids, for your family, for your business, right? So let's ask real questions. What happened when people making $1 million decisions are mentally exhausted? Because that is the reality in many rooms today. And this is not a performance issue. It is an emergency problem. The era of high performance energy for years, we have trained our leaders, professionals to operate in what I call high performance energy. It looks impressive on the outside. Back-to-back meetings, quick turnaround, constant responsiveness, always being on. And to be clear, this type of energy is what builds the industry, especially from Nigeria. We glorify that, right? We love it. So, it built the industry, it sustained the system, and it gave us results. But it also created something else, chronic urgency. A state where everything feels important, where every email is a priority, where other people's emergency quietly becomes your own. It compromised the quality of your thinking. The shift we need from, I was talking about performance energy. Now the shift we need is going towards precision energy. As we move deeper into AI-driven economy, when they were talking earlier on this, someone said, how many of us use AI? Everybody in the room raised their hand. So as we move deeper into AI-driven economy, where system can outperform humans, speed and scale, the value of human being is no longer as much as what we can do. It is now in how well we can think, decide, and regulate. And this is where the shift happened from performance to precision. Precision energy is not about doing less for the sake of it. It's about directing your energy intentionally. Clarity before action. Taking pause before you make decisions. Seems thoughtful, not reactive decision making. Strategic pauses to protect long-term outcome. In other words, it is different between being busy and being effective. The hidden cost of dysregulated energy. It might work across clinical settings, leadership spaces, and organizations. organizational system, I've seen patterns. Highly capable individuals operating in constant state of chaos. They are successful on paper, they are producing results, but internally, their nervous systems are overwhelmed. Their thinking is rushed, their boundaries are blurred, and the impact shows up in ways we don't always measure. Poor decision making, strained relationship, short-term wins at the expense of long-term sustainability. Because when everything around you is urgent, you lose the ability to discern what is actually important. A simple but powerful shift. If there's one practice leaders, and leaders means everybody in this room, can take away, it is before your next major decision, pause and ask, am I responding from urgency or from a place of clarity? This question alone introduces regulation and it interrupts your reactivity. It creates space for better thinking, and today's world, clarity is a competitive advantage. The future of leadership, we are entering a new phase of leadership, one that will not reward constant motion. It will reward regulated minds, clear thinking, and intentional actions. Because in a world where technology is accelerating everything, the leaders who stand out the most will not be the busiest. They will be the most grounded. And, you are from Nigeria. A lot of people carry kills and they wear like a badge of honor. And I'm going to speak to you about knowing some people who have you around them. You cannot afford for it. Within you, the shift from high performance energy to precision energy is not optional. It is necessary. Because the future will not be led by those who can do the most, but those who can think the clearest. In an AI-driven economy, the winner won't be the busiest people in the room. They will be the most regulated, the most clear, and the most intentional person in the room with their energy. So next time when you want to make a decision, it's okay to take a pause. It's okay to give me a few minutes. It's okay to rest without feeling guilty. I know sometimes if you're not doing anything, you just feel guilty, like, oh, what am I doing today? What have I achieved? Rest is also a strategy if you're not very happy. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, we'll take questions later. Thank you so much, Lola, for that great presentation. We'll wrap it up, and I'm taking on this spicy stick meat. I don't like spice. But Komer Bogidi did this from Tribe Kitchen, and we have Madame Bossedi from BOFAC, who had our branded Zobo drink. Can we have the two of them stand up so we can acknowledge them? Thank you so much for making this possible.
Nigerians, we love spice.
Thank you. So we'd like to also identify those who are wearing the green and white today. So Adetola, you qualify also. We'd like everyone to stand up if you're wearing the green. Sherry, stand up too. Because the green, the white and green. Because whoever is chosen as the best dressed will be having a dinner date with Olushewoni Video Handshake Summit, joined by his friend Babatunde Russell. So if you choose our best dressed today, here we have that special opportunity. So all in green and white, please stand up. I know Victor was wearing white.
There's the green on my cap.
Women stand up. Joy, stand up. Let's do it quickly. No, it doesn't qualify. So please guys, we want to do this quickly so that we round up. Can you help us choose our best dress? Sherry, you need to stand up too. You're in green. You know? I'm in green as well. James is also in green. You're in green too. Please stand up, please. Yeah, you're in green. Stand up. Can you all stand? Please come up, please, so that we can choose our best winners. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Sorry, you can get your spicy chicken later. You can get
You can get the chicken after, please. Let's do this.
Let's do this quickly. We are closing up.
They're going to kick us out in like 2 minutes. So please, people in green,
people in the green, please come to the front. Yeah. So let's choose our best dress for tonight. Who will be going to that wonderful dinner experience? I wish I was in your shoes right now. I'm wearing green though, but I'm disqualified. James is also disqualified. The men are disqualified. Even Victor wore white and they qualified. So please, with the raise up of your hands and the spicy meat in your hands and your Zobo drink, can you choose our best dress for today? The men in the house, please help us. You can have Mr. J, the judges. Can you choose our most dressed lady for tonight?
So it's between the people wearing all green and all white.
Okay.
You're not in all green and you're not in all white.
Just step back to yours.
Okay. One.
Wow. Respectfully though.
Respectfully.
Wow. You can take the jacket off.
Mr. J, we want you to be involved in this. You can have this conversation. Can you choose for us our winner today? Hold on. One house, please. One house.
There's Nigerian green.
Okay.
There is a green as well.
Okay.
All Africa.
You want Nigerian green, right?
Yes. It's not Nigerian.
So let's do this. Let's do this.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The most stylish.
Let's do this democratically. Let's do this democratically. Please, I'm INEC here. I can't consent.
One white and one green, right? Is it
Yeah, we can do one white and one green. Let's do one white because one white will go with Babatunde, the other green will go with Olusegun. No, it's green and white.
It's just green and white.
Yeah. So who do we go for the white? You should tell us.
Do you have a necklace?
Green.
Oh, this color.
No, show of hand. Do we go with Joy? Please, one house, please. Let's do this quickly. Show of hand. Do we go with Joy?
Yes.
White and green.
No, we are still coming to white. We are doing green now.
We're doing green now. Joy and the other lady. Do we go with Joy for the green?
If it's Joy, make some noise.
No noise. Raise up your hand. No noise. Raise up your hand. If you are for Joy, raise up your hand, please. So we have. No, how many do we have for Joy? Please don't raise up your hand twice.
You must vote. Guys, please.
No, you must all vote, please. Do we go for Joy? How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 for Joy. For the other lady, how many do we have?
Uduak.
So Uduak is the winner. So Uduak will be going on the dinner date with Mr. Shehu. So for the white, who do we go for? Raise of hand. Let's do this quickly.
Oh my God!
So are we going for Bosede? Raise of hand.
Like, look at guys!
Wait, who we picking?
So for white we have 1, 2, 3, 4. For Bosede.
Yes, all of you. Great.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For comment. You can't vote more than one. One is wrong. Put your hand down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Comment 1. So comment and Babatunde also. That's your gift for the day. Thank you so much, guys.
One last thing, yo.
One last thing, please. We're rounding up, please.
All right.
Please, all the winners straight behind so that you can be.
You can sit down. You can sit down.
Please
Please
sit down.
Please sit down. We need. There's just one last activity. Yeah. So we want to say thank you for your presence today, for your attention, and for your thoughtful engagement. For you sticking around this long, this week, is very telling of how much you value, our convener and this community. So I just want to really express my gratitude to you all for being here and for all the contributions from far and wide that had to occur for this event to even be possible. So just from a place of deep gratitude, I want to say thank you, thank you, Thank you. I feel very full. I feel very refreshed by this conversation. I hope that you all in the room have made new connections, left with one key takeaway to inform your work, or had some good food in your belly. But we're really grateful to you all for being here. Now, we want to turn relationships to action, right? So what we're going to do very quickly to stay true to that intention is to invite you all to pull out your phones. We're going to take one action before we leave, so we are not just talk people. And I'm going to read out an email address to you. If you could just open your email app and say, let's have a handshake to cement this gathering in the real world and digitally for follow-up communications and engagements that we would undertake. So if you would indulge me and open your email app to and send an email to hello, HELLO at ConcordeApp.com. CON.
Yeah, we can do that later. But
ConcordeApp.com. Let me take that again. It's hello at ConcordeApp.com. Just send a text, an email saying, let's have a handshake. And this handshake team will be in touch with you on how we're going to build from this encounter that we've had. So that's it from me. By the absolute power vested in me by absolutely no one. I hereby declare this gathering closed.
But we'd like to thank people who have made this possible. ConcordeApp, Semaform Foundation, Point of View Consulting, Omniversity, ServiceNow, BudgIT. BudgIT made this venue possible for us with the OpenGov Up, the EB team, CrossCudi, the Afro Global Radio FM. Thank you, Robert, for coming all the way from New York to covering this. Thank you, James Laddie Williams from Akada, and all of the teams that have made this possible. When we finish this type of event, we do not take for granted the time that you spend, and there's always post-production involved. We do TV, we do print, we make sure we write our great stories. Hopefully we won't put Sherry in the box. Maybe she could do a great story about our impression about this, even if just at least tell the world the kind of experience that you got here while we do our own bits. But we do not take for granted all of the people in this room that we can't call the name. Gwen Diva for delivering a great musical presentation for the first time without a mic. So it was a great walk, and we really appreciate you. If possible, maybe you will be joining Kome and the other lady on that wonderful date with Babatunde Ronsowo and Olusegun Mide. These two people, I don't take them for granted. They believe in advocacy. They have put their money where their mouth is, and they are continuously supporting. Thank you, everyone, for making the Handshake Summit Spring Meeting of the World Bank and IMF a success. Hopefully, we'll see you at the UN General Assembly in September. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And can we please have a round of applause for our convener?
Thank you, Bumi, also for just joining us. It's an honor. Thank you.
Let's take a shot of everyone at this.
Yeah, we can put it down. Huh?
Oh, thank you.
Thanks
for the award. Thank you so much. Yes, for sure.
You know this man. Hi, can you kindly introduce yourself and tell us what you feel about today's event?
My name is Aditola Omoba, and today's event has been amazing. I learned a lot. I've met a lot of wonderful people in the room. Like, I am so glad that when I got the invitation, I decided to make it. And I strongly believe that events like this needs to be, done more. We need more of it. We need more rooms where men and women, like-minded, professional men and women who have something to offer, right, need to, converge and have conversations like this. Some of the things that I heard tonight that will stay with me going forward is what I heard Kume say about AI. We need AI that actually solves our problems as diasporans, and not just AI that is just feed in, feed out. And that really stood out to me. So going ahead, I'm going to make sure that I'm using my AI better and I'm using it more. So that's one thing that I'm taking away, from this room today, amongst many other things that I heard.
So in the land of content creation, if you were to have an handshake with anybody in any part of the world, who would that be?
In the land of content creation, that's a very tough question, and it's one that I didn't even, you know how like you hear someone ask you a question, I'm like, wait, I didn't prepare for that. I think that
I love Mr. Beast. Who would you love?
Honestly, I love a lot of people who create content. I feel like everyone has different niches. Everyone has different things that they're doing, different activities, more like different content, right? And if I really want to pick someone, that's going to be tough. Let me think.
Outside content creation, who would that be?
Who would that be to have a handshake with? Would probably be, the person comes to my mind now is Ife of Dari of, do you know her?
Dari of a Nigeria Girl.
Dari of a Nigeria Girl. I would want to have a handshake with her because I think she's done phenomenally well with herself.
Ife of Dang.
Yes, Ife Dari of Dang. I actually respect what she's built and how she's been able to lead a community of women who not only have a strong voice but know how to use that voice. So yes, I would definitely love to have a handshake with her.
Thank you so much. Let's have an handshake.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I was like, oh my god, what am I going to say?